Welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube today. Hello, friends. Your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Floyer here, joined by Girl MF Michael Fletcher, the Twisted Angel D. Woodson, the Phenom Michael Bullock. I don't know where he is. He's probably running late as usual, so we'll catch him up on what he missed if he comes in. If not, then we'll just see him when we see him. So, welcome to this edition of Ridiculously Raw, or as I'm gonna call it this evening, the Constable Corbin Show, which thankfully did not have a happy ending. That's all I can say on that. So, but yeah, another run of the mill edition of Monday Night Raw. What else was expected? But it did have its moments. Oh, it had its moments, though. I will give you that. So, Monday Night Raw was live tonight from the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, the home of the NHL's Dallas Stars, the NBA's Dallas Mavericks, and yeah, this Monday Night Raw, yeah, it might have been, for some it might have been a run-of-the-mill show, but it was the usual formula for what Monday Night Raw has had this year, which is solid, not overly spectacular, but newsworthy at the same time. So we started an in-ring segment. We had our Universal Champion Roman Reigns, cutting a promo about last night, about how Brock Lesnar interrupted and Roman Reigns would get interrupted. He basically tried to call out Brock Lesnar and said, "Hey, Brock, you want your rematch? Come on right now, let's fight." But he didn't get the beast. He got the monster among men, Braun Strowman, and then he made a case about how he wanted to get his hands on Lesnar. But then out comes the Constable, our acting general manager, Baron Corbin. But you got to admit, he made a newsworthy announcement, like him or not. And this is news to us. We're going to have another overseas pay-per-view. We don't have just Super Showdown in a few weeks. Oh, no. We're going back to Saudi Arabia on Friday, November 2nd. This new event that just came out of nowhere called WWE Crown Jewel. And Baron Corbin announced that at that event, Roman Reigns will defend the Universal Championship against both Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar in a triple threat match. First man to gain pinfall or submission will leave Saudi Arabia as the Universal Champion. But then Paul Heyman comes out along with the door that Brock Lesnar ripped off the cell. His name is Paul Heyman. He cuts another awesome promo. Strowman chases him down. And then Baron Corbin, being acting general manager and having that, authority power, those authority shenanigans. And, well, he decides to conveniently give himself a Universal Championship match against Roman Reigns in the main event of this show tonight. So there you have it. A lot to take in. I would say this was the second best segment of the night, if I'm to be real honest. There was one segment, with all due respect, that I thought was better because of who it was and the news that came out of that match as well, or that segment as well, rather. But no, this was well done. I mean, I loved everybody played their parts great. Heyman, money as usual. I mean, Heyman never disappoints on the mic. Let's not kid ourselves. He did it again here tonight, and a newsworthy announcement. Wow, I can say the match does not. I mean, while I can't say the match does much for me on paper, it is logical for Baron Corbin to abuse his power by giving himself the title shot the night after Hell in a Cell. It's also logical to book Reigns against a wrestler who was unlikely to be cheered. So there you have that. I mean, and we had the official confirmation of the Saudi show being broadcast on the network, because WWE doesn't have enough shows to promote. So you'll have the men only show on November 2nd, just days after the All Women's Evolution pay-per-view on October 28th. Interesting timing, huh? So, wow. enough to say on that. I mean, that's a lot for us to process here. I mean, that's all there is to say. So I got to say that was the second best segment of the night. So we're gonna go with the old formula here, the old Vince McMahon, JR, and King formula. Even though our King is not here yet, Bullet, but MF as our JR here. I mean, like they used to do in the '90s. Those great events. I mean, interesting. I mean, look at all this. I mean, Corbin puts himself in a title match tonight, but another Saudi Arabia event on November 2nd, Crown Jewel, Reigns, Strowman, Lesnar, triple threat universal title. So much to take in.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to take in. First off, the Saudi Arabia fight for the universal title. The Saudis wanted Brock Lesnar, and if to be the right thing to do, you got to do it. So they did announce it. They said yes. They give him the opportunity at the. They give him an opportunity. I know a lot of people are not too happy about why is Lesnar getting an opportunity after what he did last night, but Heyman made that analogy about that. Hey, he brings money to WWE. He's one of the big names, regardless of what you say, notoriety. Yes, the success for the UFC is also a big factor in it as well. So, I mean, whatever we feel, whatever we think about Brock Lesnar, he inserted himself back into the title picture by hook or by crook. He's in it. Braun Strowman definitely has a legit gripe, because of the fact that, even though it will go down as a failed Money in the Bank cash-in, unfortunately for Braun, he got John Cena'd. Let's be realistic. He got John Cena'd. As everybody knows, Cena cashed in at Raw 1000 against CM Punk, and the Big Show intervened, interjected, and caused the fight to get thrown out. And unfortunately for John Cena, that was his Money in the Bank contract cash-in. Braun Strowman got the same treatment. So Braun definitely needs an opportunity. Corbin sensed that Roman was not at 100%, and as a good heel general manager would do, picked his moment and basically abused his power to insert himself into an opportunity to fight for the Universal title. And I can definitely tell you that incident or that moment should not go unnoticed. I know Stephanie might not be thinking anything about that, but there is one other person that probably would interject on what he did. Chairman of the board of World Wrestling Entertainment. And Corbin, you better watch yourself, because if you pull another stunt like that, you might bring him out. And that might not, and even pretty little Stephanie might not be able to save your butt if you know who shows up. So, yes, solid start. Good way to start the show. Nothing more to say. Didi, what's in? Come on in, my dear. It's all yours.
Yeah, it was a good way to start the show, and yeah, I agree with you. If Vince sees enough of this, there is a chance that he could intervene, and then it would be bye-bye Corbin. So yeah, that was definitely an abuse of power tonight by him, and nice little reminder from Paul Heyman of everything that went down. So not much more I have to say about it. Let's move on.
We move on to our first match of the night, and what a way to start off the match portion of the show. The Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose, one-on-one with the Scottish Psychopath and one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions, Drew McIntyre. When all was said and done, the winner of the match, 11 minutes and 55 seconds, it was the Scottish Psychopath, Drew McIntyre, with the Claymore kick. Gets the win cleanly on Dean Ambrose. MF 24 hours ago, these two, along with Rollins and Ziggler, they stole the damn show at Hell in a Cell in their near 5-star tag team title match. Maybe not 5 here, but a very entertaining start here.
At least 3 stars, and yeah, this was definitely a great matchup, great battle, and give it up, props to both men for bringing it tonight, especially after their little escapade and everything that went down from the tag team title fight to their brawl at the end of the night in at the Hell in a Cell. Great matchup, great battle, and hats off. Like I said, hats off to both men. 3 stars. Didi Whitson, it's all yours.
Didi, was this the match you wanted me to skip on you because your cable went out?
No, it's the next one that my cable actually went out.
Okay.
And it was out for quite. What was out? Well, I did get to see the girls' match, so I just didn't see. I think it was Gable and Victor. I think is what I read that it was. So, but yeah, this was a great way to start the matches and have a rebuttal from last night's pay-per-view. So yeah, 3 stars. Not much more I'm gonna say on it.
I'll make it unanimous. Solid 3 stars. One of our fights of the night. Absolutely. I mean, I don't think I can give it fight of the night. I don't think I can quite give it fight of the night, but nonetheless, it was an entertaining opener and also a pleasant surprise to see Drew McIntyre go over clean. It is the right move, but this is a company that tends to be reluctant to have their high-end baby faces lose clean in television matches. So something to think about right there. So nothing more to say on that. So all right. Well, I was gonna skip it. I was gonna skip over you anyway, Didi, because the next match was a cutout. Of course, that second match that you said when your cable went out. That this is where it is a cutout here. Chad Gable with Bobby Roode in his corner, taking on Ascension member Victor with Connor in his corner. Chad Gable wins in 3.5 minutes. I mean, they're obviously dragging this whole thing out with Roode and Gable. I mean, I just hope for the love of God that they don't make us endure a Roode and Connor match. But with our luck, that's probably going to happen. But the match was okay, fine, even though the outcome was never in question. The Ascension, once upon a time, the most dominant tag team in NXT history, and now they're traveling enhancement guys. But Victor is very good at what he does, so I'll give him that. Okay, this is not a cutout here. I think on behalf of all of us, this is the segment of the night right here. I only wish Bullock was here because it was his idol. It was his hero, The Undertaker. He came out basically rebuttaling on what Triple H said last week, but big news that came out of this. It was Undertaker announced that Shawn Michaels is going to be in Triple H's corner for the match at Super Showdown. But guess what, folks? The Undertaker, he ain't coming alone either. He's got backup of his own. His brother, the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, Kane, the Brothers of the Brothers of Destruction versus D-Generation X. Didi Whitson, how is this not the segment of the night? I ask you. Didi, did your cable go out during this match as well, or this segment as well with the Undertaker?
No, I'm sorry, I stepped away for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, this was a really good segment. For me, this would be the segment of the night. Definitely. And hearing the news that Kane, of course, the mayor, where is it? Knoxville, I believe, is where he's mayor of.
Knox County.
Knox County, right? Yeah, him being the mayor of there, and all of a sudden now he's going to be Kane at the pay-per-view. I mean, that's going to be awesome to see him, there with his supposed brother at this pay-per-view, standing in his corner and having the DX reunion in the other corner. So yeah, this is going to be a very good match. This is a very good way of making it even more exciting, more wanting you to see it and giving you the hype for it. So not much more I'm going to say about it. I'll toss it to you.
Segment of the night, absolutely right, Didi. Well said. I mean, a well-delivered and received promo. The company has done a great job of taking what felt like a fairly flat Legends match when it was announced and turning it into something that feels important. I mean, whoa. I mean, these two alone would have sold fine. But now you're going to add Kane to The Undertaker's corner, Shawn Michaels and Triple H's corner, which means unofficially it's technically the Brothers of Destruction against D-Generation X. What we would have given to have seen this match when all four of these guys were in their prime. Would you have imagined if we had Taker and Kane, when Kane was first coming up, with Taker in his prime, and then when D-Generation X started, when they were in their prime, with Chyna and Rick Rude in their corner? I mean, we had done this match like 20 or so years ago. It would have gone down as one of the greatest tag team matches of all time. But this is not a tag team match, but it's got the feel of one. I mean, all hell is going to break loose in this match. I mean, Kane and HBK are going to get involved in one way or another. So there's no doubt about it. It's obvious that this match is going to be the main event of the Super Showdown. I mean, how can it not be? I mean, man alive. I mean, if you were taking a cat nap during this show, I mean, and once you heard what Taker said, boom, that got you right up. No doubt about it. That perked you right up. So nothing more to say. This was the segment of the night, hands down. MF, I mean, it may not be a tag team matchup, but think about it. Super Showdown. The Brothers of Destruction on one side, D-Generation X on the other.
This is the ultimate thank you to the WWE fans, to the diehard fans, to the IWC. This is their curtain call. This is they talk about it being the last time ever. And if they're going to go out, let them go out big. Why not? Four of the most recognizable names during the Attitude Era, from Shawn Michaels basically leading the new generation of WWE, of WWF, I should say, when he led it almost into the Attitude Era, which was Austin's time. Triple H basically blossoming from literally Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the blue blood, to the Game, the cerebral assassin, right before our very eyes. Of course, The Undertaker, from the Lord of Darkness to the corporate ministry to just the Ministry of Darkness and that generation. And then, of course, Kane, the Big Red Monster. So this is kind of their way of saying, we're going to make this a great match. We're going to make this a big ending. And we're going to make this as a big thank you to not just the fans in Australia who's going to be fortunate enough to see this fight, but for all the fans all around the world on WWE Network. This is one of those reasons why you have the network. This is why you pay the $9.99 a month. This is why I always yell to shut up and take my money, because of moments like this. And Taker played it very well done. He was straight to the point. Everybody quieted for Taker. Let him do what he needed to do. You didn't need the fanfare. You don't need the there was a little bit of some chanting, but not much. They let the job do for itself. they let the moment come to them. And that's as good as it can get. And for me, I got nothing bad to say about it. This was amazing. Clearly and far and away the segment of the night, and no arguments with that. Anthony Florio, it's all yours, brother.
Oh man, that's a lot to take in, I know. But don't worry, this show's gonna turn into a dumpster fire. I mean, don't worry. Cutouts galore here. Bayley against another one of MF's favorites, Dana Brooke. Sorry, MF. Your girl Dana Brooke can't buy a win nowadays. Bayley goes over her in 3 minutes. No comment. AOP squashes another Hammernager tag team in a minute. No comment there. But this is definitely something we can get into. A return match for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Dolph Ziggler invoking the rematch clause against Seth Rollins. Winner of the match in about 9.5 minutes, and still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins. I got to say, this was another 3-star match. I mean, it wasn't nearly as long or good as some of their previous matches, but I get it, given that they were selling injuries from Hell in a Cell. But even in the shorter time frame than they're used to, it was still entertaining for what it was. I mean, you could make an argument for Fight of the Night here, just like their partners had earlier. But nonetheless, Kingslayer goes over. He remains the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. So onward and upward for the Kingslayer, I guess. So nothing more to say here. I'm going to give it a solid 3. Maybe call it co-fight of the night. So MF, I mean, if only these two weren't selling injuries, these two could have easily put on another classic.
Oh, without a doubt. They would have far and away would have blown the match out of the water. But at the end of the day, you had to do what you had to do. I don't mind it. I thought the body of work was done really well, and I love how everything came out. And it was definitely, it came out very well. I got nothing bad to say. I thought the match was fine. 3 stars. I'll definitely agree with that. The way that it was handled, I thought it was beautifully done. So, Didi, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it was a very well done match. Yeah, I'll give it the 3 stars. I mean, it was great. Even though they are selling injuries, it was still, a great match compared to, what we had and all those cutouts beforehand. So, for 2 guys that had fallen off a cage into 2 tables, they still came out and they still, rocked the match. So, yeah, not much more I have to say about it. Let's go on.
All right, and then we had the Raw Women's Champion, Ronda Rousey. She comes out and, she cuts a brief promo about how she wants to be the best champion the fans have ever seen. She wants to be like Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ric Flair. She issued an open challenge, and she tries her luck at the open challenge. And I mean, first we hear Natty's music, and we're like, "Oh my goodness!" I mean, was it going to be Natty? But then no, it wasn't Natty. She got jumped by the Riot Squad, and Ruby Riot says, "I'm going to answer your open challenge." But then, just before she could, here come the Bellas, and all hell breaks loose with the women. And I mean, all this really was, to be honest, was I mean, wouldn't it have been something if Nikki Bella had attacked Ronda Rousey and scored the fall on her, since Ronda had issued an open challenge? But instead, this was realistically, this was just an angle to promote the 6-woman tag for the Super Showdown. Ronda Rousey and the Bellas against the Riot Squad. I mean, it explains why the broadcast team spoke about the IC title match being the first of 2 title matches on the show, since we never actually got the women's title match. So that's really all there is to say on that. And then we had another segment here. another cutout segment here. It was Elias doing his thing yet again. And then he gets interrupted by, of all people, 205 Live's Lio Rush. Lio Rush. I mean, he tried to get the best of Elias, but then he gets interrupted by Bobby Lashley, and then it led into a match. Bobby Lashley against Elias. Bobby Lashley wins via countout in 2 minutes and 10 seconds of television time. So I guess Vinnie Mac is finally over his belief that managers are too old school wrestling. I mean, some people use the word mouthpiece around him to avoid it. And it's one of the reasons why Paul Heyman is called the advocate for Brock Lesnar. And Lio Rush, I'll tell you, he's very charismatic. And the way he dodged the heels got some laughs and cheers. I still think his act would work better if Lashley and Rush were heels. But at least they're trying something new with the flat Bobby Lashley act. So I'm just going to leave it at that. 6-woman tag team match. Well, this was a women's tag team matchup. I'm sorry. Nia Jax and Ember Moon squaring off against Mickie James and Alicia Fox, Alexa Bliss in their corner. Nia Jax and Ember Moon, they get the win in about 6 minutes. I'm torn here. It's up to you guys. If you want to talk about it, we can. If you want to skip
cut out.
Cut it out. Okay, I had a feeling. All right. Yeah, it is a cutout match. I mean, there were a couple of clunky moments, such as when the referee stopped counting a Mickie James pin, and then when Jax apparently forgot that she was supposed to duck under Fox in the corner. But nevertheless, Nia Jax came off well in her return, though it would have been more impactful had she won after her initial flurry of offense. What did I give the rating here? 1 star. Yeah, 1 star. That's really all that was. And now it's time for the main event. The Universal Championship on the line. Roman Reigns defending against our acting general manager, the Constable, Baron Corbin. The match did stop. It stopped via disqualification after Baron Corbin threw a chair at Roman Reigns' face. But then Corbin abusing his power, saying restart the match as a no disqualification match. All hell breaks loose, but when all was said and done, the overall time of the match was 17 minutes and 35 seconds. Don't worry, folks. The Constable did not get his happy ending. The big dog goes over. He wins it. 17 minutes, 35 seconds. Roman Reigns, still your Universal Champion. I believe it's is it MF who starts off on this? I think it is MF, isn't it? I lost track with all those cutouts. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is me. It's me.
I thought so. All right. MF, Roman Reigns going over. He basically pulled the Super Cena here. He overcame all the odds here.
Yeah, I mean, this one was absolutely insanity. I don't mind the DQ finish because it actually prolonged and added another element to the story. Because of the fact that that was basically the Constable, Baron Corbin, doing anything he could to try to win the Universal title. Like, he literally did everything in his power. The numbers game, the interference. Then the Shield comes out to help Roman win the match and keep the belt. So, I mean, there's so many things that we could talk about on this one. But at the end of the day, this was definitely a great matchup, a great battle, a great fight to close. 3.5 stars for me, no doubt about it. Didi Woodson, I'll just give it right to you, love.
Yeah, it was a great way to end the show. Pretty much knew Corbin was going to act like he did. Come out and try to, after giving this pep talk to the referee, call it right down the middle, don't give any favors or anything. And then he goes out there and hits him with the chair and then tries to keep the ref from ringing the bell, then restarts it as a no DQ match. And then, of course, all hell breaks loose. And we all pretty much knew that was going to happen. I mean, it's notorious when Corbin's around for things like that to happen. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and agree with the rating. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty much, you know, what we all figured it was going to be. So, not much more I have to say about it. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. My initial rating was 1.5, but you guys made a great argument here. It's mainly I was going to give it 1.5, mainly because the regular match was uneventful and lacked any sense of suspense. But the no DQ portion was entertaining because the outside interference helped make it seem like Corbin had a chance to win, and he got a couple of, I think he had like one or two near falls where Corbin almost won the title. I mean, the deep six was the closest fall, but yeah, 3.25, 3.5. By default, the fight of the night, even though it wasn't anything blow away, but you know, it was mainly because of that no DQ force aspect at the end. So yeah, nothing really more to say on that. So now let's move on to our overall thoughts on Raw tonight. And Didi Woodson, let's start off with you here. Your overall thoughts on this first. You forgot to unmute your mic there. The first this night after Hell in a Cell edition of Monday Night Raw in Dallas tonight. Another so-so show, but you know, not the worst, but not the best either. But at least it was newsworthy again.
Yeah, it was newsworthy, and yeah, it wasn't the best. Certainly not the worst, but I'm gonna, go probably thumbs in the middle. 5. Because there was so many cutouts, there was so much, you know, not really great stuff, but it was very newsworthy. Leading up to actually both pay-per-views that we have coming up. The one from Australia plus the Women's Revolution. So, um, there's a few highlights, there's a few low points, but all in all, even some of the low points still had either ties or led to um, one of the two pay-per-views or storyline type progression. So, not much more I have to say about it. I will see you guys whenever we do the SmackDown one. So, good night, guys.
All right, good night, Didi. All right. I definitely agree with Didi's rating. This was a 5 out of 10, mainly because of all the cutouts. I mean, but it was a newsworthy show because of the announcements. Let me see. For the most part, this was another bland and skippable edition of Raw. I mean, the wrestling was, for the most part, forgettable. And the only real takeaway accomplishment was the build of the Super Showdown. I mean, that's what some are saying. But for me, if you're pressed for time, like I know a lot of us are, me especially, because of my work commitments and all that. Opening segment, I will say check out the opening segment. Drew McIntyre and Dean Ambrose, definitely give that a look. Obviously, the Undertaker segment, that's an automatic. And I'll also give you the Rollins and Ziggler IC title fight. And for the most part, I'll give you the main event as well. I mean, those are pretty much the only must-see things from this show here tonight. So it is another 5 out of 10. I mean, they got my hopes up. They were promoting all these title matches. And, I mean, 3 possible title matches with the IC, Women's, and Universal titles. I mean, like, okay, maybe we have a shot here. But I had a feeling it wasn't gonna work out. I had a feeling it wasn't. So. But now we move on to a loaded SmackDown Live tomorrow night. I mean loaded. I mean, my goodness, MF. I mean, what a show you guys have tomorrow night. I mean, Rusev against Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Heavyweight Championship. AJ Styles against Andrade Cien Almas. A coronation for the new women's champion, Becky Lynch. and it's going to start off with a surprise guest on Miz TV. Okay, all 4 of those alone are going to put SmackDown over the top, are going to top Raw once again. So, I mean, this is basically turning into the Monday Night Wars almost. I mean, with SmackDown as Nitro and Raw as Raw, and it feels like it's been 83, 84 weeks that SmackDown keeps whooping our butts. So, yet again, so nothing more to say on this. It's a 5 once again, so which is the average Raw rating nowadays. It's been like this since the Superstar shakeup, realistically, after SmackDown robbed us clean, but you know, it was what it was. So, oh boy, nothing more to say. MF, I mean, another so-so show tonight, but you heard what I said about your SmackDown Live tomorrow night. You guys are loaded up again.
Yeah, and you know, credit to Paige. You know, the best general manager right now we've had on the show. She's easily becoming more popular than Daniel Bryan, believe it or not. Daniel did a good job as GM of SmackDown Live, but I gotta say it, man, she's actually beating Daniel on everything. So she's definitely proven to be quite the GM, and you know, we haven't seen Shane McMahon at all because she's doing the job. She's doing it really well, so Shane doesn't have to be there. So I'm all good with that. I love what I'm seeing. At the end of the day, we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, 5 out of 10 is the overall rating for Monday Night Raw tonight. I can't disagree with what you guys just said. And yeah, they did a good job. Nothing bad to say. Let's just move on. So Anthony, it's all yours.
All right, we got the Tony Steak now, 205 Live, and let me give you the rundown of the results, and then I have a big announcement regarding 205 Live. So just give me a moment here. So we started it off with Grand Metalik against Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy wins in 10 minutes and 42 seconds. Fight of the night, 3.5 stars. It was a very good opener with both guys delivering, and Murphy gaining momentum ahead of his Cruiserweight Championship match against Cedric Alexander at Super Showdown in Australia. Mustafa Ali squashed a Hammerneger in 1 minute and 40, exactly what that needed to be. And then in the main event, Drew Gulak and Jack Gallagher against Cruiserweight Champion Cedric Alexander and Akira Tozawa. The heels, Gulak and Gallagher, they win the match in 12 minutes and 35 seconds. 3.25 stars. Good main event with the goal of setting up the Gulak-Alexander rematch, accomplished with Maverick's announcement. I really liked how they got Gulak back to the title with a combination of mind games and, more importantly, wins. So it was another 7.5 out of 10. 205 Live just continues to be an extremely good and consistent show. Buddy Murphy continues to roll ahead of his title shot. Mustafa Ali is back and about to restart his feud with Hideo Itami. Noam Dar and Lio Rush will collide next week, while Alexander and Gulak is official for next week as well. Add in the good wrestling, and the show continues to be must-see TV. So, big announcement here. Because of the Mixed Match Challenge, 205 Live will no longer be airing on Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock. It is now going to air Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock to kick off a great 3-hour stretch on the WWE Network. You're going to have, listen to this, MF, you're going to have 205 Live at 7, then you're going to have NXT at 8, and then at 9, continuing coverage of the Mae Young Classic. Whoa, 3 huge hours all in a row. That's amazing. I mean, that's another shut up and take my money moment right there, without a doubt. And you got 2 big matches for that show on Wednesday night. Lio Rush versus Noam Dar, and Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship. Oh, my goodness. Great way to start off the Wednesday at 7 era. So that's all we can say on that. 7.5 out of 10, and that's the big announcement. 205 Live will now be airing on Wednesday nights at 7 Eastern on the WWE Network. So that's nothing really more to say here. Let's just get into the what was the final Impact Wrestling taping in Toronto, concluding the tapings that went down at the Rebel Complex in Toronto, Canada, from Slammiversary all the way up to this point. And here we go. Started it off with an in-ring segment with the World Heavyweight Champion Austin Aries and his heavies, Killer Cross and Moose. Solid opening segment with some funny lines, but far from great. Then we had the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon and Phoenix against the Cult of Lee. The Lucha Brothers win in 12.5 minutes. Fight of the night, 3 1/4 stars. Good fun and action-packed opening bout. Excuse me. Then we had Katarina. Katie Lee, she went up against Alicia Edwards, and Alicia Edwards actually wins the match in 3 seconds. It was all a bad angle that keeps going on. I mean, a damn shame. I really wanted to see these two go at it in a competitive match, but unfortunately, it ended up being all about Grado and Joe Henry. But, that's all I can say on that. Avoid. That's all I can say on that. LAX squashing a couple of guys named the Fraternity. 4 minutes and 10 seconds. It was an all right little outing and all action before LAX got the win. I mean, the post-match continued the bill for Bound for Glory and really solidified King as that all-around piece of crap heel. So 4 minutes and 10 seconds there, 2 stars. That's all I can say there. Brian Cage against Congo Kong. Brian Cage wins in 4.5 minutes. 2 3/4 stars. Pretty good match. Short but action-packed and a lot of fun. Exactly what that needed to be. And then in the main event, Austin Aries defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Falaba. And the winner of the match, 16 minutes and 22 seconds, and still the World Heavyweight Champion, Austin Aries. Believe it or not, this was actually a good and fun match. 3 stars. Ba is a fun performer, and he had the crowd support and enough hope spots to make it fun. But Aries he is far and away the best thing going in TNA at Impact right now. He led a smart match, and he got the most out of Ba. So 6 3/4 to 7 out of 10. An overall solid show as Bound for Glory continues to slowly take shape. The only really bad thing on the show was the Katarina, Grado, and Henry nonsense, which needs to go and fast at the point of go away. They seem to have the pieces in place for the final stretch to Bound for Glory, and hopefully they could put together a string of good shows like they did heading into Slammiversary. While nothing great or must-see, Impact remains a perfectly solid show that feels easy to watch, and you can see the direction slowly taking shape. They just need to pick it up over the next 4 weeks. So it's a 6 3/4 to 7 out of 10. And now Impact Wrestling done in Canada, but now it's going to Mexico. Now, I don't know some of the names I'm about to read off on the spoilers here, but I know MF obviously will know. I know some of these names, but I'm not familiar with some of them. But maybe MF can help me out for a moment. Petey Williams is going to go up against I don't know if this is a 4-way or what this is. Petey Williams again. Well, I know who Jack Evans is. He's from Lucha Underground, part of the Worldwide Underground. And you got Trevor Lee in there and Puma King. Okay, I don't know who that is, but Petey Williams against Jack Evans, Trevor Lee, and Puma King. King and the OGs. They beat up a local wrestler and then they call out LAX. Interesting women's matchup here. Fabi Apache is going to square off against Alicia Edwards. OVE in a 6-man tag against Brian Cage and Lucha Brothers. And in the main event, Austin Aries will be defending the World Heavyweight Championship again, this time against Tejano. Now, I know who Tejano is, another Lucha Underground product. So, MF, Jack Evans, now he's part of the Worldwide Underground, correct?
Yes, he is.
Okay. I know who Trevor Lee is. I obviously know who Petey Williams is, but who's Puma King? Do you know anything about the Puma King?
Puma King, well, okay. Puma King is actually from AAA. He's from AAA. He actually is basically one of the descendants of Tiger Masks. So that's what he is. So he's basically he's like the next generation of Tiger Mask, and Tiger Mask is notorious in Mexico, in Japan. He's a major megastar in Mexico's in Mexican wrestling. So yeah, he's a big name.
Now there's one other name that I need help with. Maybe I would be shocked if you didn't know who this was, considering your knowledge of international wrestling, like JR has and still does to this day. Who's this girl, Fabi Apache? Am I saying her name right?
Her name is Fabi Apache,
Fabi.
and I'm gonna tell you, Anthony, she is a icon in lucha under in Mexican wrestling. She was the former Reyes de Reyes champions, which was the women's champion in AAA. She is by far the biggest name over there. She has rivalries with Sexy Star from Lucha Underground and somebody that we know. So for her to have a fight on in Impact Wrestling, Anthony, watch this girl. She is definitely worth a look. I mean, she is, she is, even though she's in the twilight of her career, like I said, back in the day, she is the Trish Stratus, the Lita, the Gail Kim. Like, she's one of the biggest names in AAA when it comes to her wrestling. Multi-time women's champion. Her rivalries that she had, again, especially with Sexy Star, it definitely is up there like The Rock and Austin. They were like the female Rock and Austin of AAA wrestling, because their rivalry went on for a good few years, at least 2 or 3 years. Their rivalry suspended. So yeah, no, she is a big name. One of the biggest names in to have on the show, and trust me, Anthony, it's gonna be a blessing and an honor. You're gonna get to see her in the ring. Like I said, I don't know if she still has it, but let me tell you, man, she is a great wrestler.
Okay, so that's interesting to know. I'm glad. I had a feeling you know who she was. This is all going to go down at the Frontón, Mexico Centro, the big arena in Mexico, the Frontón, Mexico. That's where it's going to be. And you're going to see this all on Thursday night on Impact Wrestling. And thankfully, we have a rare Thursday night football game when you got the New York Jets against the Cleveland Browns. I mean, who really wants to see that? I don't. So I got that on the DVR. I'm definitely going to be watching this Impact show on Thursday night. So Petey Williams against Jack Evans, Trevor Lee, and Puma King and the OGs against some local guy. Fabi Apache against Alicia Edwards, OVE against Cage and the Lucha Brothers, and then Austin Aries against Tejano for the title. So that sounds like a loaded show for Mexico. So, and MF, I'm going to recommend you check this out. I mean, because I know how big you are into Mexican wrestling, especially with the recent Triple Mania. So, all right, that will put a bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. MF, come back in. Cerebral Smack Talk. When's it going down? Tomorrow, Wednesday? When's it going down?
We're going to be doing it Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Very light show, guys. SmackDown Live. And then, yes, guys, 2 weeks worth of Lucha Underground. We're going to give you 2 weeks worth. We're going to give you the last week's show and that night's event. We're going to do it live. So, we're going to do it at 10 p.m. Eastern. Work commitments again beyond my control. Sorry, guys, but and plus with this bad weather, I don't know what's gonna be happening tomorrow, because we're supposed to get the leftover rain from that Hurricane Florence. So hopefully everything will be fine. But 10 p.m. Eastern Wednesday night on Braves Fan 95. And Anthony, why don't you set up the rest of it?
All right. So we will not be on tomorrow. That's fine. You just heard what MF said, Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Hopefully I'll be on time, because, I have my Bible study on Wednesday night. Sometimes it can go a little over, but I'm hopeful that we'll be okay. If I'm late, just like I said, just start without me and catch me up if need be, but we'll find out soon enough. SmackDown Live and the 2 weeks worth of Lucha Underground last week and this week. So that's Wednesday. Thursday, time to be determined. We will have College Football Thursday, run down the Week 4 action, top 25, our latest power poll. Major shakeups, by the way, because of a couple of major upsets that went down this past week, rather. And then Friday night, we have NFL Friday, Week 3. We'll talk about the games and power rankings, the whole 9 yards. Maybe we'll get into the Thursday night, the week 4 Thursday night game. Yeah, we will. I believe it's supposed to be the Minnesota Vikings against the LA Rams, and that's going to be a beauty, no doubt about it. So we'll definitely get into that. So, and then next week for Ridiculously Raw. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF over on Brace Bay 95, it's your ridiculous deal with good brother Anthony Flair here. For good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the phenom Michael Bullock, Twisted Angel D.D. Woodson, and the hardcore pipe I'm Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, keep it watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody, Michael Bullock has just come in. All right, Bullock, come on in. Let's get you caught up on Monday Night Raw. So
just the relevant stuff.
Absolutely the relevant stuff. And rapid fire, please, if you will. So
oh yeah.
Okay, here we go. We started it off with Roman Reigns. He was in the ring and interrupted by Braun Strowman, Constable Corbin, Paul Heyman, and it was announced that Reigns, Strowman, and Lesnar will battle for the Universal Championship at a new event called Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia on Friday, November 2nd. And then Constable Corbin puts himself in a Universal Championship match against Roman Reigns. So your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a good segment. Yeah, I mean, Roman Reigns doing his usual thing, and then, Braun Strowman comes out, and then Constable Baron Corbin basically says, you know what? It'll be Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns for the Universal title at the new event called Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. So, yeah, that should be interesting. And then Corbin putting himself in a Universal title match. I think everybody had to expect that, especially with him abusing his powers. Yeah, Constable Corbin, whatever that idiot would do. So, nothing more to say. Let's just move right along.
Dean Ambrose against Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre wins 11 minutes and 55 seconds.
I'm going to give this an even 3 stars. I mean, I thought it was a good match. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to say. Let's move right along.
The Undertaker. The Undertaker cuts the promo, and he announces that Shawn Michaels will be in Triple H's corner, and he announces that Kane will be in his corner. So we've got the Brothers of Destruction against D-Generation X in Australia. Whoa.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, if you thought this match couldn't get any more bigger than they were already hyping this, but now you had HBK in Triple H's corner, and then the Demon Kane in his brother's corner. Oof. You've got some potential fireworks. And now I'm really looking forward to this match even more now, Florio. I mean, wouldn't you agree on that?
Of course. We mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, and when I heard about this, I read a dirt sheet that potentially this could lead to a potential tag team match at that very same event, Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia, where the Brothers of Destruction could go up against D-Generation X.
Wow. That would be something. That would be something.
If they're putting Kane in the Undertaker's corner and Shawn Michaels in Triple H's corner, something tells me it's going to go down at that event in Saudi Arabia. I mean, why the heck would they do this in the first place?
Good question. Let's move on. Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match, Seth Rollins against Dolph Ziggler. Seth Rollins wins and retains the title in 9.5 minutes.
Well, I'll have to say, not as good as some of the other matches, but I'll still give it an even 3 stars. So, yeah, nothing more to say. Let's just move right along, Florio.
And we're just going to move right on to the main event because none of the other stuff after that was relevant up until the main event. Roman Reigns against Baron Corbin for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns successfully defends the Universal Championship 17 minutes and 35 seconds, despite the fact that the original match ended in a disqualification, but then Constable Corbin abusing his power and making it an ODQ match and restarting it. Basically, Roman Reigns pulls a Super Cena 2.0 and overcomes the odds here.
All right. Oh, well, what did you give it?
Well, we still gave it the fight of the night honors. We gave this like 3.25, 3.5.
Yeah, I would say it's around that. I mean, despite all that nonsense from Constable Corbin, and I'll say this right now, Florio, none of this would be happening if Kurt Angle wasn't given the vacation by Stephanie McMahon.
Man.
Yeah, so nothing more to say. Let's just move right along. And what did you give this Raw?
We basically gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it's 5 out of 10. I think is the proper rating for this Raw. So yeah, so now you can put a bow on this ridiculously Raw.
Yep, I already ran down the docket for the week. So but both of you just came in, so I'll remind you. We will not be doing Cerebral Smack Talk tomorrow night because MF has work commitments beyond his control. So it's been pushed back to Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. So
all right.
So that's the Cerebral Smack Talk. And then we got to determine the time, as always, for Thursday night for College Football Thursday. And then, of course, NFL Friday on Friday. And then off on the weekend. And then back here next week for Ridiculously Raw. So that's basically the docket. So that's it. So now, until Wednesday night for the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF, it is once again your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Florio for the Phenom Michael Bullock and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Twisted English Woodson, and the Hardcore Pipe Bomb Derek Ferreira. You know the routine once again. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. All right, for now, my friends, God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until our special Wednesday edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 and YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.